So we say this number surged by 10.5% year on year, but actually month on month it's down 24%.
Yes.
This is a concerning number when you look at the month on month figure, isn't it?
Not really. The decline is ascribed only to the less working days in April. We were afflicted by a number of public holidays, as you know. So the working days in April reduced to 18 when it's on average 21 to 22, and that has a
So
massive
that's not
impact.
a concern then on
Not
that
a
front.
concern.
Year to date though, we've seen an increase of around 6.9%, so that is quite promising, isn't it?
Promising and in line with the expectations for the year. Growth of somewhere between 5 and 10%.
I mean, I remember the days where we saw double-digit growth, and we were talking about
Yes.
35% increases on those new vehicle sales numbers. We're really far away from those kind of levels, despite the fact that we've got interest rates sitting at record lows. We're just talking about consumption-driven growth, and you know, a lot of people saying that this is not really filtering through as strongly yet. Is it an issue with regards to banks? Is it an issue with households? I mean, something's got to give at some point.
Well, it's I suppose an issue with households. We know that about 46% of all credit active consumers have impaired credit records. That has an impact on the bank's ability to extend credit. But we need to also remember that we're coming off a very high base. When you know, we're coming off a 573,000 base in 2011. So growth on that, I think, in the sort of upper single figures is a promising sign for the industry.
Again, the local currency had a lot to do with things with regards to having a stronger local currency, that then feeding through into slightly cheaper cars that were imported. We've got a slightly weaker local currency right now. Are you seeing this impacting the car market?
If the price increase is moved to the consumer, definitely. But current expectation is not that price increases will exceed inflation for the year on new cars.
Okay, so vehicle exports, this is a concerning number. Again, 11% down year on year compared to a 20% decline in terms of what we saw in March. So we're doing slightly better. We're declining far less than what we saw in the previous month. So
Yes.
should we be optimistic on those numbers? Well, I mean, April, you were talking about not really working as much as what we saw in the month of March.
Look, I think we can be cautiously optimistic, but the previously predicted levels of 300,000 exports now seems to be under pressure. Latest predictions is 270,000. The problems in the Eurozone, 27 of the countries, very few of them showing any vehicle sales increases. Germany, one of them at about 3% currently, but countries like France and Italy now showing the lower 20% declines in vehicle sales. So that obviously impacts on the ability to
Wessel,
export.
if you could also just touch on defaults. I mean, what kind of default rates are we looking at here?
The good news is that we're seeing improving default rates. So as we move into the year, we have traditional sort of peaks and valleys, and April is one of them when everybody goes on leave and don't pay the installments. Well, not everybody, but more people. But we're seeing a recovery from those peaks far quicker now. So the overall average level of defaults and arrears is definitely better than they have been in prior years.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for joining.